Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Outskirts Overland. I appreciate you guys all being here. This week, I'm going to get into some stuff. I'm just going to ramble um, on tangents and different things. But before we get started, I gotta go do the thing. So if any of you guys want to check out Onyx Off Road, you can get 20% off using the discount code Global Overlander 236, and that'll get you 20% off of Onyx Off Road. Um, if you guys are if you're in the Midwest, which I'll get into that further, but if you're in the Midwest and you are interested in doing something with the off-road community and you drive a Toyota, go over and check out Toyota Trucks of Arkansas. And Go Fast Campers, if you guys ever listen to this, I don't know, maybe I got some news, so we'll see what's going on with Go Fast Campers, guys. But I'm still here. I still tried to give you guys a chance, but who knows. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'm happy everybody's made it today that has made it. Got a few people watching live, which I love. So thank you very much. So guys, first thing I want to talk about today is I go to the Ozarks a lot, and that's Arkansas. And I'm not going to get on some tangent about off-road in Arkansas, but pretty much just south of me in over the last couple weeks, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, they've gotten hit with some really bad weather. And it's caused some damage to some people's property. It's caused some damage to some people's homes, cars, workplaces. So I spent all day trying to find a legitimate way that I could get out to you guys to maybe donate or help out the communities, because they're more or less they're whether they're struggling yet or not, they're gonna be. So I was trying to get that to everybody, but I couldn't find a legitimate one, and none of my connections there really led me to a legitimate one. So it was kind of a tough endeavor. So I don't know how you guys could help out. Um, if you guys wanted to, I know there's a lot of chainsawing going on down there. I have a couple friends who I could give you their addresses if you guys wanted to send out some two-stroke gas or some, or even just some bottles of water. Most people have their power back. From what I understand, most people have their power back, but not everybody. So I don't really know what we can do to help, but I'm pretty sure if you guys were interested in ordering some online pickup to, like, from Walmart or something, maybe my friends would be able to go pick it up. Maybe to help some people out. So I'm just putting it out there. There's a lot of trees down. My friends are actively out, probably not even watching right now. They've been out since last Saturday, clearing trees for everybody, helping people charge their stuff off their power stations and their solar, helping them cook with their propane stuff, because a lot of these people aren't like us and they're not prepared for this stuff. And so that's important that we work toward helping our local communities as well. So we just appreciate everybody for that. I was happy to hear my friends doing that. So if you can help in any way, it would be awesome. And don't hesitate. I'm Charlie Raz on Instagram personally. I'm Charlie Rasanowski, just like it's spelled down here, on Facebook personally, and I'm Outskirts Overland on a separate account everywhere. But comment on my videos. I check the comments on my videos on YouTube. These as well. These streams after they go live. If you got anything to say now, go ahead and say it. But I do just want to make sure that everybody's aware that, like, a really close place to my heart got hit pretty hard this week. And if anybody can help in any way, reach out to me and I'll see if I can get you in touch with some of my friends, and they could fill you in on what would be useful to them. So, anyways, without further ado, we'll get into today. So happy Memorial Day. I did a podcast last Monday because I was kind of tied up with time constraints. With my niece had a graduation, and my daughter's last day is I got 3 kids, guys. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but I got 3 kids, and my oldest daughter's last day of school was like Wednesday, and it was a hectic week. So I, I did this on Monday. Feel like I haven't done it in forever, but happy Memorial Day late. As a veteran, it's a very, very important holiday to me. I did get out and go camping this weekend. Took my oldest daughter and we went camping. We would have went 2 nights, but because of the weather that occurred on Saturday, because we still got pretty bad weather. Nothing like south of us got, but we did still get some bad weather. And that being said, we uh we didn't go Saturday night. We waited till that weather passed in the morning, and we went out Sunday early-ish. I think like 11. We went out and we went out. We went camping. So for sure, the weather was not optimum, but that's what I'm gonna get in today too. The weather wasn't optimal. We did get rained on a couple of times, and so that was not ideal. But even so, it was all right. So I took my daughter out, which is a good segue into people just getting into camping or overlanding. So I'm taking her out, and I'm trying to teach her. This is by no means her first rodeo. She's been going. She's went a lot of times, and she essentially I'm trying to get more to where she's packing her own things, she's doing her own stuff, she's thinking about what to take and what not to take. I'm trying to get her in the mindset of like, okay, you're going someplace where you have no amenities. What are going to be some things that you're going to need, like. And so I let her pack, and kind of helped her a little bit along the way. So I made sure she had, you know extra shirt, extra underwear, stuff like that, like regular basic stuff. But we got rained on and we got soaked. We were out and we just straight got soaked. So we were out and we were out away hiking when the rain started, and we just got straight freaking annihilated with water. Now, given that we 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 had one pair of shoes. So given that we had one pair of shoes, it was she had one pair of shoes. I should paraphrase. She had one pair of shoes, and she was in and out of the truck. She sleeps in the back of the truck. She's in and out of the truck. Well, that brings a point. Brings up a point. She didn't think to bring a easy slip on, slip off pair of shoes when she's getting in and out of the truck a bunch of times. So that was something that I think she'll never do again. She'll never forget a pair of shoes, I don't think. Like whether it's she has Crocs and ultimately like that's a great option for anyone, regardless of what you think about the style. That's a great option for you regardless, because they slip on easy, they slip off easy. You can pretty much hose them down. Um, but she forgot those. One thing. That's number one. She forgot a pair of shoes to get in and out of. So she had wet shoes for 2 days. And she's like, oh, I'll put them in the sun, they'll dry. So she also had a false expectation of how long it would take for those things to dry. Like I was trying to explain humidity to her and stuff. And the more I was out there with her explaining these things, we've been camping in the rain before, but not. I mean, we got rained on and off. So we've camped out in the rain where it like rains and then it stops. We got rained on like three separate segments. So it was a little different because she was in and out a little more. But I ended up thinking about like, well, a lot of people are going to get in this hobby like they don't understand dry air, wet air, humidity, how that affects your stuff. Like even if you sweat in a bunch of in a humid climate, like your clothes and stuff are still going to be wet the next morning. So when it's humid and if you sweat a lot or you're going to sweat or you're going to get rained on, your stuff's not going to dry. So you need to pack a little bit extra, incidentals, pack extra, you know, you're not going to go wrong bringing clean clothes home, but you might be pretty uncomfortable vice versa. So that's something to think about. The so pack more dry clothes while we're in, if you're in a humid climate or while we're in spring and we're getting a lot of rain. Pack extra clothes, pack shoes that kind of aren't affected by wet weather. that you can kind of stomp around in, not something that's cloth, flip flops, whatever. You can rinse your feet off. So that was my probably my number one takeaway for anybody, which I know and I was prepared for. But it's good to teach your kids some lessons, and it's better that they kind of come to it on their own. So, in the Marine Corps, they say pain retains, but ultimately, just being uncomfortable is something you'll remember. And she was definitely in a little bit of a situation with her shoes, putting wet shoes on, then not enough dry socks because everything was wet. It was a deal. But ultimately, again, I brought extra socks foreseeing some issues. I helped her out. It wasn't the end of the world. But secondly, man, I'm always prepared for mosquitoes, and I have not been camping in years where ticks were this bad. Dude, I came home with probably 3 or 4 ticks on me. She had a couple ticks on her, and that's after we checked each other multiple times through the day and picked a ton of them, like, crawling on us. Picked a bunch off that were crawling on us. Man, ticks were bad. So I looked into that because, I mean, nobody wants ticks, tick bites. Nobody wants to pull ticks out. There's, some diseases associated with ticks, at least around here, like alpha gal, that keeps you from eating anything but chicken, and it's like it's a deal. I don't want to act like I know everything about it, but it's prevalent around here, and so people are kind of tick scared. But what I researched and looked into was ticks. You got to look into. You can't just trust the companies coming out with bug stuff that bug stuff works. So, for instance, like my neighbors have beehives, like they're a huge bee, like bumblebee honey operation, and they're always laughing because everybody puts lemongrass, in their bug spray, but actually bees like lemongrass, so it's attracting the bees. So when I looked up what is effective against ticks, what ticks don't like, predominantly it was citronella, which is what a lot of people use for mosquitoes. So what I've done the last few days since we've been back with my daughter is I got her some like citronella bands that go around your ankles just to see. Cause I mean, I live in the country too. Like ticks are nuts here. Ticks are nuts on the dog. Ticks are nuts on everybody, mowing the grass, everything. Ticks are bad right now. So I got her some like citronella organic something or other, like rubber bands that I put around her ankles just to see, just kind of test that out. And I'll let you guys know what I come up with over the next coming weeks. But man, be that's something that, I mean, it matters, you know. And there's another thing that matters too that doesn't affect me or my kids, at least to my knowledge. Definitely not my oldest daughter, and I'll get in that in a second. But ticks are real bad. Nobody wants tick bites. You feel gross with tick bites. So it's not been something that I've been dealing with in the last 3 years, probably at least. But it's really bad right now. Like currently, the month of almost June. It's bad, bad. I don't know what environment they like better than others, but it is 100% tick mania out there right now. Then, secondly, poison ivy's out. Poison ivy's flourishing. Poison oak. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about that. I'm not allergic to poison ivy. It doesn't bother me. I can walk through it. Doesn't does not matter to me. My oldest daughter, at least, she's the one that I go hiking and camping with the most. Doesn't affect her either. So our biggest thing is the ticks. But if you are allergic to poison ivy or poison oak or bee stings or any like that stuff's all another cofactor that you need to be paying attention to right now. Bees were heavy, even though cicadas are out. Bumblebees were heavy. I didn't see any wasps, but ticks were heavy. Poison ivy was real heavy, but again, doesn't affect. I'm not affected by it. But I know some people like they look at it and they're screwed for a week. So I got a couple funny statements about that even, but we'll save that for another time. Um, so yeah, that was bad. So we had, if you were allergic to poison ivy, you would have had wet stuff, poison ivy, ticks. Could have been a crappy time, but I mean, I had a great time. I'm trying to teach her about it a little more. It was a good time. She likes sleeping in the back of the truck. I got set up for her. She really enjoys it, and It's her own. It's her own space when we're camping. So she still kind of has her own room. She's not subject to whether I snore or roll on top of her or or whatever. Like she can watch. She can watch whatever we downloaded down there, and I can watch a movie that I downloaded after dark up top. You know, she's got her own headlamp, the whole nine. Um, so all good there. All good there. But one thing that I ate my words in a couple of instances, or I'm gonna eat my words in a couple of instances. So I just got done talking. So I've done two podcasts, one not so recently and one pretty recently. And I'm kind of into right now. I'm at a place, well, and not a place. I like to test out different stuff, like, and I'm always looking to make my setup better. But I like to test out different stuff. So I'd previously said last week, if I have a rooftop tent, it's going to be an OVS, an overland vehicle system tent. Well, guys, I done already effed that up, um, or messed that up for family, family friendly. But anyways, so I got an opportunity over Memorial Day anyways, I got an opportunity for a tent from 23 and so I that's coming on Friday. I got a 23 Kabari light. Um, so it's real light wedge style tent. I again, I've always I said I would stay with OVS. I did get a hold of OVS, and quite frankly, 23 just like called me back on the phone. Like I could show you guys on my phone. Like they physically reached out to me, and I was like, well, that's super nice. Like that's really cool. So I really liked that. I got to talk to them about their warranty and stuff because they had a couple offerings with wedge tents that I was interested in, and I was like, hey, I had this happen before. What do you guys do with that? Et cetera, et cetera. Is it for season? All the things that I discussed last week, for sure. Like, what's make sure it's for season. What's this? What's that? How's that work? What grade aluminum is it? How heavy is it? How does it mount? What do you send for it to mount? Do I need extra stuff? Does it come with all the stuff? So they kind of checked all the boxes, and I ended up going with a Kabari light. It is far more minimal than what's currently on my truck, and if you're watching, you'll see it on top. My Bushveld 2 clamshell, but that tent is big, man, and I want to go, man. I'm like weird in the fact that I'm not real big on cooking. I cook to eat. I'm not real like the tent thing is just not my thing. Like I'm not trying to set up a freaking amazing feng shui space up there. Like it's to sleep. I'm not hanging out up there. I'm not doing nothing. Like even if it's raining, I'm hanging out probably under the awning. I like to sit outside, just listen to outside, read, hike a little bit maybe, hell take a nap outside, just but I'm not in the tent. I'm not none of that matters to me much. I wanted something that was wedge. And I was like, I'm just going to give this a shot, see if I like it. I still have this tent. I haven't quite decided yet 100% if I'm selling it or not. I might keep it just for the sake of the experiment here. More than likely, I'll probably 23 is a very good brand. It's a name brand. I'll probably love this tent. A couple of my friends have seen one. I've not even seen one. The opportunity was presented to me, and they got one with an American flag on it, and that's the one I got from them. And so I'm really excited about it as a veteran, and just kind of what I was looking at, kind of fit my needs, fit what I wanted. That's what I got. So I'm gonna eat my words there. The best offering and opportunity for me was not, unfortunately, like even just said last week. So I'll be doing a little bit of a review on that tent. It gets here on Friday. Now I don't know if I'm eating my words here or not, but I did a tire selection podcast a while back too, where I discussed, AT tires, RT tires, MT tires, and I was running Falcon Wild Peak AT3s. And you notice I said was. I was running Falcon Wild Peak AT3s. I had them on my stock 16-inch wheels, and They did work fine. They worked fine for me. Um, just today, I well, not today got put on, but just today I installed on my truck. I just got KMC's new 729. It's a rotary forged wheel from KMC, and it's a 17, so I'm not on 16, so naturally new tires. And I got Kenda Cleaver RTs, and I couldn't tell you guys anything about them. Look really good. Look super good. This new KMC wheel has a -10 offset for you Toyota people, and I'll post pictures of it on my Instagram maybe tomorrow. I mean, I gotta get the truck cleaned up a little bit. The wheels in the truck kind of don't match grime right now, but they're a light wheel. They were like 23 pounds in a 17-inch, 17 by 8.5. But I did get the -10 offset, so I could get rid of the Spider Track spacers I had, which makes me more comfortable. And I did end up going with an RT tire. Again, for sake of I've had MTs and I've had these ATs, and they've been great. I got again opportunity with Kenda, and if you're going to try something out, try something you haven't had. So I went with the RT, and then this is a brand new wheel from KMC. It's the KM 729, and I'll put pictures up of it. It is, I mean, it looks great. I I'm I'm not a wheel guy. I'm not an offset guy. Like I'm not a. They look sick to me. They look super sick. And they're satin black. But anyways, so I have RT tires. I have way nicer wheels than I would have bought from KMC. They're sweet, super sweet, and Kenda Cleaver RTs now. Now again, it might seem like, oh, he's got a tent coming Friday. He just put new wheels and tires on. The wheel and tire thing's been going on for quite some time. It takes time. Um, you know, you can order from Discount Tire and get your stuff together. When you're dealing with a tire brand and a wheel brand, it's not coming together. So different situation. But anyway, either way, awesome. They look sick. I mean, it looks cool. And I got rid of wheel spacers, which I love. So those will probably all that's probably going to be for sale. I did get 5. I have a spare as well. So I'll have a 17-inch appropriate wheel spare since it's got such an offset. I will be selling my Wild Peaks and my spare. So I'll be selling 5 Wild Peaks, 1 never used, and 2 that have. I haven't even had them a year. So I don't even know. I'll probably get a gauge, but I'll be selling those, all 5 of them, because when I had spacers and 16s, the 16-inch spare and the full-size spare worked, but now I'm on 17s with an offset, and it'll rub if I put that 16-inch spare on, even though it's the same diameter. I'll be selling those wheels and tires for sure, along with I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just cleaning out the garage. So I'll be posting on Facebook Marketplace and stuff. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram too, if some of you. But anyway, so I kind of ate my words due to circumstance. Now again, I don't want to ever seem like I'm, for lack of a better term, sold out by any means. I'm not gonna be here to tell you guys they're the greatest thing ever, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't know if I look at it as like a review, more like an experiment. Because now I'm looking at it like I got a long-term review of Patagonia MT02s, mud tires. I've got a long-term review of Mickey Thompson Baja Bosses. I had those ATs. And I've got a long-term review. Now I'm going to do a long-term review, or excuse me, I've done a long-term review with these Wild Peak AT3Ws, and I've had Falcons on a ton of vehicles, so Falcons are great tire. I don't have to say anything good about these tires that I got, but I got Kenda RTs. They are rated mud and snow, so I'm interested to see kind of how that plays out with the RT. Um, but I'll let you guys know if it's better or worse, how it does. I could tell you right now they're going to be better off road. I mean, just looking at them, they're beef. For an RT, I was like, damn, that's what an RT is. Looks a lot more like my MTs, but that's just the way stuff's going now. So I'll let you guys know. The wheels, on the other hand, I just put them on today, and just even accelerating and braking, they're so much lighter. You could tell immediately. I was like, dude, this is a cat's meow. I was like, this is awesome. Like that was kind of like the tune. You can tell immediately that the wheel and tire setup is quite a bit lighter than the factory Toyota wheels with the Wild Peaks. I do think the Kendas are a little lighter. I don't even know. It wasn't a factor. I got 285 70 17s. I had 285 75 16s before. It's same exact. I mean, within a couple tenths of an inch, it's the same thing. So I was here's Marvin, guys. He wants on TV. Here's the Marv. Oh boy. Here he is. Hey guys, if you came for Marvin, he's here. He's wants to be on the TV today. So I'll let you guys know about these tires. I could tell you for a fact these wheels are sick. Super sick. KMC's like a real big brand. These are super freaking nice wheels. I did racing. I had some partnerships with Method when I was doing that. They that didn't know I got Onyx and Method and Onyx do their thing. That didn't not how that played out, but they are super nice guys. I can't tell you how nice these freaking wheels are. I feel bougie, like super bougie with them on. I was like, at least I looked a little bit more like a frugal individual with the stock rims, you know. Some not no more. Um, but I'll let you guys know how they do long-term review. I'll do a review of the tent, long-term review of the tent. You know, on the podcast, just talk about it. Kind of I will now have had, just for context, I'll have had the soft shell, standard beginner tent, the hard shell the clamshell style hard shell, and I will now have had a wedge, and I'll be able to tell you guys the positives and negatives, you know, this way or that way on all three types of rooftop tent. I have also now had ATs, MTs, and now have RTs. So I'll be able to tell you guys, like, is the RT really the ultimate play, or is still the still the all terrain the play? Um, that I don't know. That and I'm not even going to talk about all around with that tire till probably February, March next year when we will get snow here, we will get ice here, and that's what I'll have on the truck. So we'll see if it's junk or good. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know. They do have some siping, so I can get into tires, but they do have some siping, so they should be tight. But who knows? Road noise, wear, all those things. I'll rotate them every 3 to 5,000 miles, like I always do. Um, if I get punctures and stuff, I'll let you guys know. But so yeah, so I'm eating my words there. I got RTs, I got wheels, I got a new rooftop tent. Now it's just all over the place, right? Like he said he was done with his truck, and now stuff's happening to the truck. Well, again, like I mean, I appreciate these people. I appreciate 23 and Kenda and KMC. They have awesome stuff. Like it looks, what are you gonna do? I got new stuff. Freaking sweet, right? But I'll make sure to let you guys know what's going on. Everything that's on the truck as it sat last week, I bought everything, all of it. And I'm going to be comparing, what I spent my money on to what I have now. And so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, moving on. Um, I have had a pretty big influx in people reaching out to me. I even put something up on Facebook Marketplace the other day. And if you listen to this later, a guy was like, You're the guy. Listen to your podcast. And I was like, that's freaking cool, man. Like, I'm still just a person. I'm accessible. Like, you guys can always message me, personal accounts, podcast accounts, whatever. I'm just a dude that's out here. Overland Expo West just happened. Now, I don't know how many people are like, you're crazy. I watched a few videos about what's coming out. It seems like this year there was a lot more. There's a lot of awnings and lights. I actually didn't see as much trailer stuff, so I don't know if trailers like tech peaked last year or not, or maybe trailers are kind of just it's a trailer. It's probably kind of like you can only do a rooftop tent so many ways too. Like people might come out with new stuff and it might have some upgrades, but overall there's three types of rooftop tent. I mean, that's what there is. So it's hard to sell somebody that's already got one that's, a tenth of a degree different, unless they are in the market. their family grew or their family shrunk or they got a different vehicle. Maybe it works different. Maybe they want a trailer now. Like who knows? But I did see a lot of awning offerings. There are companies with 360 awnings now. Um, there are companies that do two 180s, so it's on both sides that you can buy together. Oh, Marvin is losing it here. So I did see a lot of cool awning stuff. Quite frankly, like some pretty sweet awning stuff, really. Um, there was some innovations in rooftop tents. There was Dometic came out with a blow up rooftop tent that you put a pump on. So that was super cool. I mean, cool, not for me, but cool, nonetheless. Interesting. And those of you that follow the space, you'll know they came out with a truck cap similar to that. Not maybe I don't think Dometic did, but maybe, who knows. Um, I didn't see much about new power station stuff. Power stations were a couple years ago. That was a huge thing. Like it felt like they went through the roof with tech and everything going on with them. But it looked like a lot of light companies coming out with new unique offerings, whether they're specific LED functions, some of them that go from clear to amber in the actual light, um, some that go, spot fog, and you can even split the colors with those. Lots of stuff, light technology, and so that was cool. KC actually had like a pretty solid showing. I watched a couple different influencers coverage of that. The Storytell Now was actually in their booth, so I watched his, and that led me to watch a couple others about what's going on with KC. Man, they got some cool. They're doing some things, and and again, I live near Diode Dynamics, so I'm always going to be supporting Diode Dynamics. I've had them before. I have some KCs on my truck. I have some Baja Designs on my truck. I'm not like a brand loyalist in lights, and I don't need any lights right now. But Casey had some innovative things going on in across the product line that I saw. I wasn't there. Other companies might have been. You never know. These content creators are, they're sponsored. They get paid to advertise stuff. So I don't know. But it appeared from some of the smaller creators that I'm friends with and I follow that kind of went around to debunk what was out, that the Casey stuff was cool. It was pretty cool. There was some new innovations in truck topper campers. Pack out campers was there with multiple trucks with pack out campers on them. And the pack out camper undercuts the competition in price by, I mean, 40%, 50%. So if you're somebody like me that was interested in that, they are far less expensive. So that's an option too. If you're that person and you're looking into that, that's an option for sure. But so that's there. Now, now I want to that brings me back. I told you guys I was kind of be all over the place, but that brings me back. I did just get a wedge style tent. Okay, guys. That kind of knocks me out of the market that I was in for a camper thing, like a camper topper. I'll get the wedge. That'll probably be it. I'm not. If Go Fast Campers wants to give me, they're American made company. I appreciate that about them. They were probably the first in the space. If that ever came to be a time where I was financially able to get one or we could work out a deal on one, I would get one, but I don't know that I'm actively in the market for one right now. Essentially, what I got in my 23-0 tent is the same dimensions of tent as the topper. I just can't walk through. I just can't pass through. Um, Not that that's not a huge deal, but it's similar in that. So I I'm definitely excited to try that out. It will hang over my cab. I'm a little about that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I uh I still don't have a swing out. Um so that'll be probably something that I will make. I'll probably make that. I did just buy myself uh well, I'm going to pimp my dad here. I didn't buy myself anything. My dad bought us a new MIG welder. Um So shout out to my dad. Welder, cart, CO2 tank, the whole nine, like new, brand new, delivered. So I'm pretty excited. stoked on that. The welder we had is old. And that's not old's not a problem. I had been pushing for an upgrade. I do a lot of welding in general, not just on my stuff. I got, when I was younger, I did the whole welding certifications through the career center, so I'm certified in a couple different stick welds, stick rods, and MIG and TIG and so aluminum. So I'm certified welder in those few things. Nothing like a legit like certified welder for a living, but I'd been wanting a new MIG, like a more powerful, nicer MIG, and I just brought it up to my dad a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just get one." And I was like, "Well, I can't afford that," and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get one for the shop." So that showed up. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'll probably build a swing out for my truck, a single swing or something. I'll just order the spindle from somebody that makes them, so I don't have to figure all that out with a micrometer. I don't want to be dealing with that. And I'll probably build my own swing out to put the super bare wheel tire thing that I got going on, because I don't want to just shove that under the truck. It's like too nice. Like you need to see it. So I'll probably build that. I am trying to. I don't know. I'm not a video editing guy, but I am going to try and bring a little bit of content to some of the stuff I do DIY. Um, that swing out, I will probably do some content on that I'll put on YouTube. I did my own cab mount chop, and and I think it was like $15 for me. It cost nothing. I used like sheet metal that I had, like sheet, um, 1/8 inch by two. Well, it was like 4 feet long, but by 2 inch, 1/8 inch thick. I just made my own cab mount chop, and I beat in my fender wells, all that stuff. And that stuff happened while I was working on what just transpired with the wheels and tires, because the tires are, with the offset of the wheels and stuff, it was a, so, and I knew that was going to come, so I was ahead of it. Um, so I did that. But I DIY a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll take this tent off, I'll put the new tent on, it's getting delivered to the shop. We got a tractor with forks on it. Nice. For a rooftop tent, for a rack, for a lot of things. So I have a lot of amenities of shop stuff. But that's not to say you couldn't go to Harbor Freight and take the same idea that I have with making my wing out and get a $199 welder and do it. Like you could do it. I mean, again, you don't need a $700 welder, $1,000 welder to do it. I just want that because I want to do it and make it look. It's a. It's like I don't like people seeing, with the lesser equipment. It does produce a little lesser of a visual appeal, and I can stack dimes, and I don't like when it looks like I can't stack dimes due to the mm, limitations of the equipment, whether it's speed. It's not as, you can't always control everything to be perfect, so you can weld, as good as you want. Also, the diameter of the, um, yeah, the rod, not rod, but the metal that you're welding with. So I love them a loss for the word at the moment. Sorry about that, but I'm at a little bit of an endpoint where I'm better than the equipment will let me be. So I really wanted an upgrade, but that'll work out great for my dad too, because we got trailers and stuff, and I'll weld on that. But they always say, this is a saying that, there's a couple sayings that I learned over my time doing not only this but fabricating too. And one is, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. It's a funny one, but there's also a saying that if you're not a good welder, just be a good grinder. So I am sick of being a grinder. That's 100%. I want my welds to show. So I did that. I'll probably put some content out about that. But you could do it. I will say that welding can be dangerous. you should definitely seek out some education before you just go buy a welder, before you're welding in a puddle and electrocute yourself, before you're grounding, you know, off your truck and frying your electrical system. I have a thing that goes on my battery, positive and negative, that's essentially for welding on the vehicle to protect the electrical system. So I will probably, hopefully, I will talk about that in the content I put out, but just putting it out here too. Like, you will be able to do some of the stuff I will show you by yourself, but make sure that, you know, safety is paramount. Have a helmet, have gloves, make sure you understand grounding, grounding stuff. Make sure you understand not ruining your electrical system. Make sure all these things. So, anyways, I could get into just welding or fabrication and safety with that on its own. I've had friends that did their own. Well, I have a friend that works in. Uh, Jesus, I'm losing it today. I have a friend that works in the mechanic side of things for a living, and he said there was an individual DIYing on a Toyota 4Runner, DIYing their cab mount shop, and there's a main wiring harness that runs right there, and he chopped the freaking wiring harness. Now I did my own cab mount chop, and for the life of me, it don't even. And I used a grinder. I didn't even use my plasma cutter. I used a grinder, and for the life of me, I don't even know how that guy did it, but obviously it's possible. It was a very costly situation for that individual. Um, and for those of you, I keep talking cab mount chop. There's a cab mount that your wheels rub on the inside of your fender well on Toyotas, and there's a pinch weld as well that goes up into it. And it's extremely common to do a cab mount chop with 33-inch tires and aftermarket, well, with like 3 inches of lift, aftermarket upper control arms in 33s. It's something you almost have to do. It doesn't rub at full lock or anything, but if you put any articulation into it, it does rub. You're a mall crawler, you won't even be crawling curbs without that cab mount chop. So it's pretty necessary because the upper control arms, aftermarket upper control arms, move the caster back about 3 degrees, and that 3 degrees back, when they readjust the lower control arm, actually ends up pushing the tire back just a little bit. That there are shops, specialty off road shops that could keep that from happening, but those are so few and far between. I wouldn't even want to like that exists, kind of like maybe aliens, you know. He- I've never seen one, but somebody has, kind of like that. Or have they seen one? Is there a guy that does that alignment? I don't know. I've never had one. I've had people tell me there's people that could do it. I'm not them. I haven't had that happen. So I got an alignment guy. He's good. My truck runs, it goes down the road straight. I'm not. I did the cab mount shop. I mean, that's what most of you guys are going to be dealing with. Alignment at a local shop, or finding a specific shop you want to go to. Not all of us are going to have, access to like a legitimate off-road shop that specializes in suspension and alignments. So make sure you're aware of that when you get upper control arms. Once you lift a certain amount, you got to start changing things on Jeeps. You got to start looking at you got to start looking at your steering components. You got to start looking at your stabilizer bar. You got to start looking at these things, making sure that they're strong enough to handle the load of the wheels and tires. So, and then you can end up in issues with alignment, even on straight axle stuff. So paying attention to that stuff. And again, even Jeeps are notorious for going out of alignment as well. And the death wobble, I feel like on Jeeps can be avoided with appropriate, appropriate wheel balancing, tire rotation, and alignments. I get alignment every 6 months. I get my wheels and tires, like I get my stuff rebalanced every year, and I get so I think that's hugely helped me with getting the life out of my stuff, even with a heavy truck that's lifted and doesn't have a sway bar. Rotate your tires every 3,000 miles, every 6 months get an alignment, and every year get your tires and wheels rebalanced. That will save you a couple $1,000s in the end, probably. A lot of guys are like, "Oh, I just didn't remember to rotate my tires," and it's like, well, that was $1,000, just whatever. Like, rotate your tires, guys. Anyways, Overland Expo seemed to have a lot of stuff with awnings and lights. Um, I didn't see too many offerings with anything that interested me specifically. Lights are cool though, and I think it's cool. Um, I didn't see any new winch technology. I didn't see anything really new from Factor 55. I didn't see anything new from a lot of brands that I was interested in. But when you got something that's so good, why fix it? Don't fix it if it's not broke. And I think that's where it lands with a lot of these brands. They still have really good quality stuff. I Man, I want to get somebody on here that's a safety person because there's a lot there that I think could benefit a lot of people just to learn about. Unfortunately, those people get paid to teach those classes, so I don't know that they're going to be too privy to put that information out on my podcast for free, which I can respect. But that's so if you are that person, if you're a not safety medical, but if you're like a recovery specialist or anything like that, I would love to just get on and hear about like horror stories and how to avoid being in them. That would be tight. So that's what's going on lately. That's what happened this weekend. That's what's going on with all my stuff. Hopefully in June, past Father's Day, I can finally start going camping like every week. That would be great. This podcast, as much as I didn't want it to affect, um, as much as I didn't want it to affect me going out and doing the hobby, getting it started, getting it going, and it's been a while. This is episode 16, I think. So 16 weeks. It's been going a little bit, but it is a lot of work, and it has taken up some of my free time. So hopefully I'll get out. But lastly, if you have listened this long, Big Iron Overland Rally tickets came out today. Now, I've been to it twice. The only reason I will go this year to the Big Iron Overland Rally is if any of you guys are going. If anybody that listens to this watches this, I will go if you're going, even if it's 3 of you. If and you'll come hang out with me and just sit down and talk. I would love that. There's definitely enough people that listen that might appeal to somebody. I'm just a dude, but my whole crew of guys. I've had Tyson on twice, but like there will be people there for you to talk to that have not only been on my podcast, have been on other podcasts. Um, if you guys want to come, now again, some of those people may go independently. They just won't be go. I just won't be if you guys if nobody's interested. This year, it looked like they're doing same thing, music vendors, but they're doing a swap meet. That seems kind of cool to me. I've been talking about somebody needs to do that, so that's interesting. But if anybody wants to come out and do something around there, September, it's the end of September, September 27th, 28th. Not to pimp the event, I'll go. I'll get some stickers made. I'll give out some stickers. If you guys want to go, it's in Mineral, Kansas. So those of you that are listening, if you're a little east or west of that, and you've never been, just let me know, guys. If people want to go and hang out, that's what that event is good for. That if you want to come hang out with me or 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 see rigs and get some inspiration, it is a really good event for that. More Expo is a good event for that. It's come and gone. Rendezvous in the Ozarks is a good place to learn about wheeling. They do a lot of wheeling at that event. But really, if you want to get everybody's parked for a day or two, stopped for a day or two at Big Iron, and it's a good place to meet some social media influencers, podcasters, brands, and just get around and look at a lot of rigs if you're interested in some inspiration, what people are doing, what people have, how they've DIY'd stuff, how they hook it up, how they take it down, what's going on there. Um, it's a really, 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 really good event for that. But if any of you guys want to go to that, I'll go to it this year and sit around. If not, I won't. Uh, I been there, done that. Don't have real interest outside of getting to meet some of you guys. I didn't go to more this year, even though I had some very good asks to do that. I just didn't do it. It was so early and gonna happen. But anyways, end of September. If any of you guys want to meet me, come hang out with me. Anybody. I mean, I will. Some guys will go. Some of my guys from my like group will go. it does support a nonprofit, so you got that part of it too. Yeah, if you guys want to go, I'll go. If nobody messages me, comments, does anything, I won't go. But I will be at Rendezvous in the Ozarks on Saturday. Of Rendezvous in the Ozarks Saturday, I will be there. I will not be there Thursday or Friday, but I will be there Saturday. So I will try and keep everybody updated. If you're anybody that goes to Rendezvous in the Ozarks and you're more on the wheeling side of things, I will be there on Saturday. Rendezvous in the Ozarks, and that is in October, like October. So that's on the schedule for me. I will be overlanding for 8-9 days going into Rendezvous in the Ozarks. So I also am really going to Rito to hit up, get a day pass and hit up that shower. I will be kind of all over Mark Twain in the Ozarks at for a week, a little longer than a week by the time you see me on Saturday. And hopefully you do see me on Saturday. That means nothing is broken. But excuse me, Big Iron, if anybody wants to go, yeah, just hit me up. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but let me know and I'll go. And I might even talk. I don't know. Me and Tyson were pretty against it. I might talk Tyson into it too. He's been on a couple of times. Based on stats, you guys like Tyson, so we'll see. We'll see. If you guys let me know if you want Tyson to come too. I think a couple of my other friends are interested. And they will go. Due to their own, social media and stuff like that, marketing. It's a good event for that kind of stuff. It'll be your guys' best opportunity to get to sit down and just chat with me too about whatever. Um, get to know me a little better on a personal level. So, anyways, that's all I got this week, guys. Um, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for being here. I am not going to be doing this next week. Next week it'll be on Tuesday. I'm trying to get somebody on, or at least have a pre designated topic. And again, I'm always open to topics from you guys. Like, what do you guys want to know about? Um, I'm always open to that. I can pivot and talk about any subject pretty much for an hour. So, but next week I'll try to have somebody on. There's a couple things coming up with the new Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter. I'm trying to get some content out there for you guys with that, and the new Land Cruiser, and the Razorback Ramble. Toyota Land Cruisers of America, the Arkansas branch, Razorback Ramble, is this weekend. It starts tomorrow, and you can do walk up. So look up Razorback Ramble. You can walk up. I think it's Jay's gonna kill me. I think it's $85 if you walk in. It's at an off-road park, and you can wheel. And there's tons of sponsors. Again, it's not my event, so I don't want to pimp all their sponsors, but you can go on Toyota Trucks of Arkansas or Toyota Land Cruisers, Arkansas, Razorback Land Cruisers. That's the Arkansas branch, and it's all there. I'm going to see if I can find the text again real quick. But I believe it's $85 if you walk up. Registration's closed, so you can't get tickets, but you could walk up and get in. They do a lot of stuff for nonprofits. They do a lot of stuff to give back. They got a lot of brands that are putting out some awesome prizes there, sponsored the event and different things. So if you're around, it'd be an awesome time to also go out there, and maybe on Sunday when you're leaving, you could go help clear some trees out there, because that's a for sure issue out there still. I won't be able to make it. Um, trying to find the price here. I'm so sorry, Jay. He's walk up. I think it's $85, 75 or $85. I can't find the text. A lot's happened since Sunday when I got the text. It's 75 or $85 to walk up. If you go to Razorback Land Cruisers, they're gonna have the location, everything there. You could also join Toyota Trucks of Arkansas if you're in the area. They'll also have the information for the Razorback Ramble as those two things intermingle. So, anyways, that's it for this week, guys. I really appreciate you. Let me know if you're going to Big Iron. Let me know if you want to cover something specific next week as it pertains to anything. I still haven't talked really about power stations a whole lot. I can, if you guys want to, or solar. if that's what you guys want. But either way, I will see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys all being here. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys continuing to listen. And much like last week, this isn't my standard format. Go back and listen to some other episodes. There's some great topics. There's some great interviews. There's some great collaborations. But every once in a while, it's nice to just BS for an hour. It kind of helps me not be so, I don't know, stressed for like, what's it gonna be? What's it gotta be? So, and that does occur. I still have a day job too. So it's nice to just get on a ramble. But I appreciate you guys. If you listen to me ramble for an hour, I ultimately appreciate you. And I'll talk to you